Hey guys, welcome to season 2 of Rockstars of Ethereum, a show about the journey and the awesome work people are doing in Ethereum and Web3 space as a whole, aka Rockstars of Ethereum. I'm Richa.
And I'm Harsh from
So
Ethereum.
formal, my God, you guys, what is this?
So,
Do you have a
Energy lao.
teleprompter?
Yeah,
कहाँ से पढ़ रहे हैं आप?
I'll do like I do. Hello, welcome to another episode of Rockstars of Ethereum. Today we have on the panel Akshay BD. Akshay, welcome. We have Richa and Harsh from EPNS. Welcome, guys, welcome. And I am me. How's it going,
oh
guys?
wow,
That's
This-
awesome.
that's
Let's
amazing.
go with that.
So just snip everything before this. Okay.
You know it's a bear market when Tanmay is stealing other people's jobs.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So we're very excited to welcome a super team today. Already introduced, but one of India's biggest comedians, YouTubers, entrepreneur, and investor. While the other is a former lawyer, founding team member at Uber India, advisor, and investor. Please welcome co-founders of Superteam DAO, Tanmay Bhat and Akshay DB. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Oh!
Just
Thank
called
you
it
for having us.
Investool, Akshay. Investool.
Invest.
Yeah, no one's ever, the thing is, we started a podcast and that was half scam because it's like we didn't know anything about crypto and we had no business running a podcast. So we knew why we did that. But we didn't, this is, I think, a new level of like advancement of that scam because now we are being invited to podcasts and our only claim to fame is hosting a podcast. So I want to see how this
Famous
conversation
investors.
plays out.
All right. So before we get started, we usually tell our viewers like how we met our guests. So this is going to be a long monologue. I'll just start with how I met Tanmay first. Fun one. Before the meeting, I had only seen Tanmay on TV, on AIB skits, on YouTube. Fun fact, Tanmay Dowry skit was the reason I knew about Bitcoin, and that was in 2015. But yeah, going ahead, we were closing our seat and we were traveling somewhere, and Tanmay drops a video of ELI 5 Bitcoin, and that was it. We knew that we have to get in touch with Tanmay. Probably convince him to come on board. But yeah, Twitter DMs are not open for him. So how to do that? Luckily,
Oh, my DMs are open now. My DMs are open.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Finally.
crypto makes you do that.
Guys, I want to tell the story about how I know Harsh. Okay. So Harsh actually so Akshay was the one who broadly explained to me what Bitcoin is and crypto, you should get into crypto. Akshay was the reason why I started making crypto content. But Harsh has stayed up with me till 3 a.m. Harsh has taught me how to use my Trezor. Like he was on Zoom and Harsh basically knows my seed words, okay, at this point. Because while we were on Zoom, Harsh was like, no, these are seed words. You should not share it with anyone. Don't share your screen right now.
Tanmay is like, here, what is this the thing?
Screenshot.
Absolute noob and novice, and Harsh was so patient, like a small child. He was my tuition teacher and he sat and taught me. It was very cute, Harsh. Thank you so much. I don't think any founder has done this for an investor. Forget other way around. It's value add founder.
Awesome. Let's go with that. That's how I met Tanmay.
Harsh is my
For
crypto
Akshay-
teacher.
Yeah, CT. For Akshay, it's actually even funnier because when we were raising the seed, there were around 4 or 5 investors that mentioned, you guys are from India or you're building this, you must know Akshay BD. And I was like, who the hell is Akshay BD? And that thing broke away when, we met Tanmay, and Tanmay also mentioned, you guys must be knowing Akshay BD. So I was like, I don't, but let me connect to him. If you can, please connect me to Akshay BD so that at least I can tell people, yes, I know Akshay BD.
By the way,
And
Harsh,
that is how-
till date, people are like, who the hell is Akshay BD? It hasn't stopped. Nothing's changed.
That is true. That is true.
Awesome. That's how we met Akshay BD and Tanmay. Richa, you
Yeah.
might want to start with the questions.
Yeah, so maybe let's kickstart things by asking Tanmay Akshay, can you tell us something about yourself and the super cool things that you guys are doing right now? And I'm very curious to know, how did you guys meet each other?
Oh yeah. So a lot of people don't know this, but Akshay used to be a comedian. Okay, he's still a comedian from inside, but it's just a slightly shy now. So Akshay and I go way back, almost a decade back, where we used to perform together, and that's how I know him as a comic. Then I think 5 years ago I was in SF. Akshay, when I was just like, who's in SF? Who wants to meet? Akshay was at Uber at that point, and Akshay and me went on a long walk in SF where we became friends, and we realized that, oh, okay, we think similarly. So we became friends. Then after that, about 2 years ago or 18 months ago, Akshay calls me, and it was a 2-hour phone call where he was walking somewhere in Singapore. What country was it? New Zealand. I forget where it was. And he was just ranting about, this is it, Tanmay. This is it, bro. The banks have just screwed up, man. I'm just telling you, just buy some Bitcoin. Just trust me on it. By the way, I have the whole call recorded. I told Akshay saying, if what you're saying is
What a
true,
guy.
this sounds almost like bizarrely ominous, and I should probably record it for posterity later on. And then I told him
without telling me, by the way. Is my audio?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah. Just so we're clear, he didn't tell me this until 6 months after the call recording. And I was like, dude, remember we had this conversation at the time? He's like, yeah, I know, I have it on my computer. I'm like, what do you mean?
Because he sounded like he was in a trance, and he was just so like sure about how this is going to play out. And I was like, okay, if this works out, it's going to be amazing to see it a year later, right?
He's thinking content. I'm trying to explain. Tanmay is thinking, wow, this is awesome future content.
Yeah. So then I recorded that conversation, and then I started doing finance content on my second channel. And then Akshay just kept badgering me, saying, why aren't you talking about crypto? Why aren't you talking about crypto? You should talk about crypto. And it came to a point where Akshay was like, can I personally pay you? Can I sponsor you on behalf of Bitcoin and talk about Bitcoin? I am Satoshi's personal marketing manager. Can I pay you? And then I was like, no reason to pay me and all. Like, I'll make a video. And then I made a video. And that's when I really started understanding deeper. I spent a lot more time with Akshay discussing crypto. And then that video did really well. And if you need me to do any work, you have to dangle some content carrot in front of me. And I saw that and I went like, holy shit, this is so cool. Let's just start making more content. And then we started the podcast right soon after that. It's not been very long. It was just like June last year. Like it's been way lesser than months. Yeah.
Yep. That's the origin of PLA 5 Bitcoin. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we started. That's how I started making crypto content. And then one thing led to another. Then it was Akshay's idea saying we should do a crypto podcast because not too many people talk about crypto in India. And yeah, that's how we started. That's how we met. Akshay, now you tell your version of the story.
Yeah, I'll tell you the memory I have. Okay, I was performing at the Comedy Store in Mumbai. And so and back then Tanmay was like, look, I'm fucking cool. Did I tell you? I'm cool. Like, like with the eyes lat and all, like he would come and hang out in the green room and he'd bully comics, okay? Not bully. So he'd be like, what is this joke? And at least he's like, I don't like this joke. Take it out. Right. So then you're like, oh, wow, this is like, I need to improve this joke because and you're not sure if you want to go before, on stage and perform it. So Tanmay was like, hanging out in the green room at the Comedy Store. I finish it, do my act, and I come back. He's like, that was good. Wo wala joke sahi tha, ye wala sahi tha. The last one, remove it. Just get rid of it. I'm like, bro, that's 2 minutes. My entire act is only 10 minutes. That puts me in 8 minutes. I don't have anything to perform only then. So he was like, yeah, nahi chalega. Purana ho gaya hoga. So I was like, okay, fine. So that was the first interaction we had. And then we kept in touch. Tanmay went on to do AIB. I went on to join, a company, and we kind of like basically did different things for a long time. And I think that the time we met in SF, we were both looking for our next thing.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to start a company. We didn't want to start a fund. Those two seemed to be like the default paths for anybody who had been involved in a startup type thing, which both of us had. Because we start a company because we were kind of like, we want to wake up at 2 o'clock some days, and you can't do that, no? and start a fund is like we want to wake up. So it's like you should not be employed while you're asleep. Like imagine you should not get paid to be asleep and all. Like, I think that's a little extreme. So then we were like, okay, and then we didn't want to be an employee because then it's like, okay, well, you got to listen to some other people and they have to listen to some other people and there's like a chain of thing. So then we're like, okay, what do we do? And so then we ended up in this weird mishmash of unemployment, come investing, come crypto, which there seems to be a lot of us like us in people in crypto. So it kind of felt like homecoming for us where we met. There's kind of like an artist in both of us in some ways that seeks freedom and, just creative time and want to do things that are not default tracks. And crypto gave us a great opportunity to express some of that.
Amazing. And I think those two stories are so different, but yet I see the common denominator on why you guys wanted to be here. So that's really awesome. So Akshay, let's come to the point, the serious point. We went stalking on Twitter and early January, we saw that you took a break from crypto Twitter. So wanted to know where did you go and what was the rationale behind taking that break from Twitter?
I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell
Please.
you. I was on the sidelines watching this. Okay, so Akshay and me had a fantastic New Year. Okay, and it was a very we were up all night talking about all kinds of stuff. And Akshay has this thing where every now and then he'll just go down one thought rabbit hole. So that night he decided that New Year, new me.
Oh.
And he just deleted his Twitter. Okay, just deleted it. Months later, his message. I wake up in the morning to a series of messages from Akshay saying that, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? Why did nobody stop me? I had so many actual interesting thoughts that I wanted to put out in the world. Now everybody thinks I'm an idiot because all my smart thoughts are deleted. It was very sad to watch, but it was I really enjoyed having a I told you so moment.
Yeah, Tanmay really rubbed it in.
Why did you delete your Twitter, Akshay?
Why did I delete my Twitter? Well, so there were two things. One, I think I was spending way too. So I'm in Singapore. City was locked down. It was a pandemic for 2 years. You guys, I'm sure, had some version of this where you're just in front of you're just on crypto Twitter and on crypto. It's 24/7. There are times in the bull market where I think I slept for 4 or 5 hours, and I could do that. 10 years ago, I just can't do that anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And it was hard to keep up with everything that was going on. Every day there was something new, and I think it was just impossible. So I wanted to get off that, and I needed a clean break to do that. And I want to do longer form writing. So I was like, okay, well, actually, if I delete all my tweets, then I'll be forced to write longer form. Except I realized that, if I delete my tweets, then I'm not even writing tweets anymore. I'm not writing any long form. So it's kind of like a lazy way to write, right? Threads and tweets. So I thought, okay, let's do a clean break, take some time off, go out into the city and just be more outdoors.
And Akshay gets really scared when his Twitter following goes up.
Oh,
he just starts getting scared. He's like, why are so many people paying attention to me? Why do my thoughts matter?
The thing about Twitter, the thing is, if Tanmay retweets something, there'll be I wake up with 55 new followers, and I'm like, okay, whoa.
That's it, just 55? That's awful. Oh, wow. You could have exaggerated a little bit.
A little bit. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I wake up with 1,000 new followers.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, just please cut and do that thing that editors do and to make,
Yeah, so that makes him nervous. Yeah, he's suddenly why do people care about me?
I just want I'm tweeting to a very small group of people, when there are, that's the way to keep Twitter, I think, high signal, right? So anyway, that's the line. Actually, nothing really profound. It was really a stupid decision. Don't do it. If you think. You try to learn something from it. The lesson is the anti-lesson.
And guys, whoever is listening, Akshay's account on Twitter is Akshay BD. So go ahead, give him a follow.
Yeah, you can follow him. It doesn't matter. In 2 weeks, he'll delete it again. Then you'll have to refollow him again. It's just hard.
Yep. So cool. So moving on, Tanmay, we were right now there's so many awesome entrepreneur stories that are coming out of India. But you did it way before it was all so cool. So what made you, do it, and what was the reaction of your family and friends when you went down the entrepreneur rabbit hole, to say so?
Man, at that point, I didn't even know, like in 2012, 2013 is when we were starting to have an office and hire people. And at that time, this whole being a startup was just not cool. It was still very early days. In fact, I remember being extremely dumb about it, because now when I'm investing and now I'm in Bangalore and I meet founders all the time, and I speak the language and I have a larger understanding of how money works, how the world works. At that time, I didn't. I used to see other media collectives raise money, and I would actually laugh at them saying, who raises money from Tiger Global? Huh? You'll have to give them the $10 million back or $12 million back. That's crazy. Today, I'm like, Tiger Global probably doesn't even know that these $10 million have gone. They probably said yes to it in 6 seconds. They don't even want to know the full name of the company. That I know today. In that time, I was just like, my God, because in my head, investor would call you 4 times a year. It was like taking a loan from the bank, right? In my head, investor was like a loan shark. So I was very stupid. I didn't know how any of it worked. I just wanted to hire enough and grow enough so we can output more. Yeah, first time founder. It was a good experience. My family was always chill. My mom was always cool. She's still very chill. Sadly, I don't have a dramatic story. I should probably invent one. There was a tweet recently saying, if you have a boring way of why you started, or invent a story of struggle.
But do you see any contrast to when you started back then and when, like, how people start startup or a business today?
Yeah.
Is there a contrast?
Back then, there was an actual product before you raised. It was, I don't know, they just thought very radically at that point. They were just like, kuch kaam karte fir paisa utate. Nowadays it's not like that. Nowadays
I have an idea.
Pre-product, pre-product, pre-thought raising. No, but back then,
pre-presentation as well.
Pre-presentation, just signaling. Let me just get a bunch of unicorn founders to vouch for me. No, back then it was very different. There wasn't as much capital flowing around. There wasn't as many founders also who were willing to share and talk to each other. Especially in the media industry, because it's a very status driven place, right? Like in Bangalore, it's very easy for two companies, if the one is a real money gaming company and one is like a fintech company, they can share data, share insights, share some how things work. But in the media industry, everything is hush hush. If someone finds a secret of how something works, you don't want to reveal how you got to that, and it's very status driven, right?
Yeah.
It's very zero sum. If someone's number one, you have to be number two. It's wildly different times at that time. I remember some of the other competitors, like other channels that were trying to build a media business. They would tell me, saying that I would go up to them and ask, being like, how you guys scaled so fast, and you went from having 10 employees to now you're 120 in the last 6 months. How do you do that? What's the plan? And they'll be like, this is not for you. Yeah, you guys are creative rock stars. You enjoy it. You're a 20% company. You should enjoy. You guys are the creative guys. We are the business guys. So I kind of stayed away from it. And to be honest, I wasn't as interested also in doing that. I just wanted to output product to product, which in hindsight was just not a scalable business in that sense. It was an advertising business at the end of the day. AIB was that. So they want to do that. Now things are different. If I had to rebuild that again, I would do it in a very different way. I would use creator token and social token and all this stuff would happen now. Saying we built the community, let's make it a financial moat.
Yep, absolutely. And I wanted to ask Akshay as well, now that actually you are in this space in the cryptoverse, as we say, how do you describe it to your friends? What do you do? Do they get what you do? Or
first of all, who are these friends you speak about?
Non-crypto friends.
Don't spread any rumors about Akshay's life. Okay. He has 3 friends. They're all in DAO.
Superteam DAO. They're friends from SF.
Actually called Friendship DAO, because that's the main reason why Akshay began it.
Oh man, that is I don't know. What do I tell my friends? I always had a reputation for having weird jobs that were on the border of unemployment. like some new stuff in tech, right? So I think my family and friends have more or less given up on trying to understand what I do, and they're just like, okay, as long as you're doing something that you understand, it's fine.
Awesome. And was there a turning point, like other than the phone call that you made to Tanmay, where you felt that this is the time that I want to take a plunge in Web3 or in crypto? What was that for you, like a turning point?
Yeah, so I wasn't really crypto for me, it was really Bitcoin. And I'd just been reading about it and macro stuff. And in September 2019, there's something weird that happened in the US bond market. Basically, I think the short end of the bond market broke and the credit spreads went really high. Before the March crash of 2020 was preceded by this event, which a small group of macro folks were following on Twitter. I happened to go into a rabbit hole on this. And I was convinced that there was going to be a deflationary bust, COVID or no COVID, right? And that's what I called Tanmay and told him, because basically, and then the Fed started doing this thing where they started buying the short end of the bond market, right? So, and everyone's like, hey, you're doing quantitative easing again, right? They're like, no, it's not QE, because QE, we buy the long end of the bond, like you buy long dated bonds or whatever, some technical difference. So everybody started calling bullshit on that by saying, oh, they're doing not QE. Basically, like they're doing this thing called not QE or whatever. And so that's the time I really like got into this rabbit hole. I think it was also because I was unemployed and didn't have much to do, and so I had time to just go read up on this and go and this, Zoltan from Credit Suisse and Raul Pal and all these macro Lawrence, Jim Rogers, all these macro folks. I didn't even start at crypto, right? I really made my way into crypto from macro, which I just read some tweets about. I was like, hey, this looks interesting. And typically when an outsider calls bullshit on an industry, that really gets me excited, because every industry has lies that it perpetuates to keep others out. So there's an account on Twitter with this it's a FinTwit account. It's a pseudonymous account with a picture of a monkey. I think it's called Plunge Protection Team. Okay. And this guy kept tweeting about this just esoteric bond market stuff. So I really got into that. Anyway, cut to, then I was like, okay, then you realize, okay, if that is true, then every asset has some counterparty risk. There's literally virtually every asset has counterparty risk, and every trade is on the dollar. And if you're having a deflationary bust, then you want to be in an asset. Whether you have an inflationary, back then inflation was just a risk, tail risk, but it was really deflationary bust, right? So imagine if you had your bank went out of business, or the stock went to zero, because if it's deflation and they can't borrow more, you're wrecked, right? So I was like, okay, that's how I got to it. It's like, okay, what are the assets without counterparty risk? Gold. So I bought some gold on my company balance sheet. I actually have pictures of they put the gold bar into a safe, and they send you a photograph in Singapore. And in Singapore, holding gold on your company balance sheet is somewhat common. So I did that. And then I really got into the Bitcoin rabbit hole. And after that, it was no looking back. Then Tanmay and I started talking. It was really Bitcoin only for me for a long time. And then whatever, crypto more broadly, started looking into that. And then now it's become me in Web3. So
awesome! What a crazy, awesome story. Tanmay, for you, what was the turning point? What made you take the plunge in Web3 or crypto full time?
Content. I made a video. It got a lot of views, and I was like, "Oh, people really care about this. Then I should probably care about this." I made the first video on Bitcoin, how Bitcoin works, and it did really well. So I was like, "Okay, maybe people also want to know how Ethereum works." And I started making a video on that. I was still very early on crypto in India. No, not now. There's a lot of people making content about it. At that time, also a year ago, it wasn't. Now it's right, Akshay. Now it feels like everyone's talking about crypto. But back then, when I made the first few videos, it wasn't a big deal. That's how I got into crypto. And then Akshay told me about Masari's ETH report, and then I started reading that, and then truly getting into it. And my learning about crypto has mostly been just sitting on calls with crypto native people and just asking dumb questions. That's how I got into it. I still don't feel nearly qualified enough to talk about a lot of crypto concepts, but I trust my intuition on what will work with people. And I think crypto resonates with, especially, I mean, Akshay has a whole theory about why millennials should buy crypto, because we're in a Ponzi anyway. And it's going to get bad, and now it's actually playing out. Every day we share links with each other saying, okay, one more IP, this, look what's happening to this tech stock, look what's happening here, which all he called like a year and a half ago. So I think young people, I cared about it. I cared about crypto because I cared about what young people care about. And of course, there's been a huge hawa about, in the last, ever since the pandemic happened, everybody started talking about finance now. There's more demat accounts open in India. So if you're going to talk about money, there's no way to talk about, there's no way you won't talk about crypto. That's why I got into it. I just wanted to be early on it because it feels nice when you're slightly early before other people. That felt nice. That's why I got into Web3. And then one by one, Akshay actually gave me the confidence. I was like, where, me investing? Me? What? No. Why would I? No one cares. And then Akshay.
The thing is, Tanmay, I think the thing is, Tanmay doesn't give himself enough credit on this. And I'm glad. That's good. It makes him bearable to work with and, be friends with and all of that. But it's, I think that it wasn't, I think it was a little bit more than content. I have this meme, right, that Tanmay Bhat will outperform Sequoia by the mid of this decade. Right, I've been saying this for a while, and the TLDR of why that is if you think about crypto, I think it's very similar to how social media played out, right? You had these, you had all these gatekeepers who were deciding at Sony Television or whatever, producers and these casting directors would be like, yeah, this show is going on air, this show is not going on air. And they would be like making these decisions, right? And when social media came about, it was completely permissionless. Anybody could create content. And people like Tanmay, who may not have succeeded in the context of this bureaucratic environment within a TV studio, got an opportunity to build a completely new media outlet from scratch that influenced an entire generation of young Indians. And that may not have happened if there was somebody to say no, right? So he had seen, to me, the reason I really wanted to work with Tanmay was he had seen what happens when you let creativity thrive in the context of media, when you let permissionlessness and creativity thrive in the context of media. And I thought it was just a very similar dotted line to finance, because today you have all these people wearing suits using complex jargon to keep most people out and effectively run some weird type of wealth, over financialized stock market, right? And with crypto, you just had people opt out of that system and build a new one that's permissionless with all this creativity. And it's just a much more honest version of it, right? Of the financial system. And their memes are, it's kind of like similar. I think the risks are there are many similarities, but there are also key differences, right? Like at least it reminds me a lot of early social media. And I think that and all of this is obvious in hindsight now. It's just that back when we were discussing this was early last year or whatever, this frame was what I was counting on. And I think on some level, Tanmay was both able to engage with that frame as well as, if you talk to him, it's not like, oh, he's asking dumb questions, right? He's actually like, he's pretty deep in the technical aspects of this, at least as deep as one can be when you're non-technical. We are both non-engineers. We LARP as some sort of being able to engage in technical discussions, but we're mostly feeling stupid.
We don't even LARP. We can't.
Yeah, we don't even LARP, to be honest. People don't even.
If an engineer comes in front of us, we're like, namaste, Guruji.
Yeah.
We don't know.
No, I second Akshay, when we started, when we spoke. So Tanmay asked us or asked me some questions, which I knew that he will know the answers about. So he's quite smart in that sense.
Thanks,
no matter what.
Yeah, and so that's why just to finish that thought, and that's why I think just like you have these traditional fund managers, right? And I love Sequoia. I love the folks there. It's not about Sequoia. It's a nice sounding meme, right? You have these traditional funds that are deciding where to deploy capital, right? And then retail gets involved, right? So they're financializing the asset and the thing, before retail participates. Now remember, this is the same as the Sony TV packaging the show before audience even sees it. But here, the asset launches and the audience feedback loop is instant, just like when the YouTube video used to launch and the audience feedback loop was instant, right? And so because he has had that eye for how a collective mob almost behaves on the internet, both good and bad. I think that perspective is invaluable, because what social media was, it's a flow of attention. He was able to predict or like have this judgment on where attention would flow even before the video would launch. Like even today, I'm amazed, right? He'll be like, oh, this video is going to get, like, we'll publish a video and be like, oh, yeah, it's about 120K views and it'll have 118. Right? He's like, it's that accurate because you've done this so many times that your brain has that feedback loop. So social media was predicting where, or having an understanding of where attention would flow. And crypto, I think in many ways, is having a judgment on where capital will flow on the internet, right? That's why it's all memes and it's like collective capital, where does it flow? And I think the traditional fund managers who were the kingmakers, they would decide where the capital would flow, don't have an advantage in that world. And I actually think influencers, right, are way more well equipped to have a judgment on that kind of stuff. Therefore, I think Tanmay Bhat outperforms Sequoia by the mid of this decade.
You like just want to keep saying
I second that.
Yeah, and also
I'll tag Sequoia as well in the video.
And between me and Akshay, I think we have vastly different skill sets. He understands crypto a lot better than me. I understand content and audience because I've just done that longer. And he's phenomenally operations wise, and I'm phenomenally lazy. So that's actually a great combination. So yeah,
I love that.
So we were just like, okay, you can do these things, I can do these things. If we team up, maybe we can do something together. That's when the idea for the DAO came. Say, okay, what if we launch the DAO and see how that goes?
Awesome. Great you brought that up. That was my next question on the teleprompter. So before SuperTeam DAO, mind telling the viewers like a ELI 5 of a DAO?
What is a DAO? It's just a decentralized organization, which is one person. It's not a one person has the final call. But in our case, I want to talk about SuperTeam DAO is nothing but it's a Discord group of talent. That's about it. It's nothing else. It's one Discord channel with talent that ranges from designers to code to marketing to ops, BD. It's just a bunch of different talented folks coming together. Some of these folks are technical, some of these folks are non-technical, some of these folks are founders. We don't have as many investors on it yet, but we're working on that. That's about it. And the aim was like, if there's one metric we try to optimize for currently is just how much money can we give out to the community. It's just a really potent freelance group, essentially, where we get them stuff to work, project work, and they get to be in different remote parts of India and earn in assets that are global in nature, which was hitherto not possible. That's basically it. It's not as complicated as people think, but sometimes it's nice to make it seem more complicated because then you also look smarter. But otherwise, that's about it. It's just a bunch of mostly 15, 16-year-olds who are insanely talented. Yeah. That's what SuperTeam DAO is. Akshay will be able to explain why this and that and all. My job is to just bring as much talent in. What to do with them and all, Akshay has all these plans and theses and all of that stuff. Shall let him talk about it.
Yep. Akshay, I would love your take on SuperTeam DAO, the inspiration. And it seems like such a cool idea, connecting super talented builders to really awesome project. So
yeah, I mean, it's that. I think Tanmay described it pretty accurately. That's really what it is. Why did we do it? We did it because I think if you look at Web2 tech talent, a lot of the leadership positions in engineering, in marketing, just generally Web2 leadership, are people of Indian origin, right? So clearly we have the talent to play at a global stage. You need an H-1B visa and a job offer to go to the US and prove yourself for 15 years. With crypto, don't. You just need a MetaMask wallet or a Phantom wallet. And now you're connected to the crypto economy. So in some ways, your wallet is the new H-1B visa, right? And so we said, well, so we can achieve a lot more if we just start treating our audience as contributors, right? We can work with them on stuff. And you can have eventually a flash mob of contributors. Just like, I think the first version of Ethereum was facility, like, ICOs and all these types of things, was a flash mob of investors and who could deploy capital. I think, what if you can have a flash mob of labor, right? What if you can, you put up a video and you say, hey, we want to build a crypto ashram in India, pick a beach town. It should have the following. Tanmay is just tired of this. I would really want to do this. Okay, I hope somebody writes.
So annoying. He wants to build an ashram himself. He wants to go settle in ashram.
Just imagine, like you build out the the RFP and all the requirements. Okay, it should have 10 rooms. It should have a coding station. It should have like a beach view, and then it should be a place where developers can go code. All this stuff. Okay, and then you should have a flash mob of people who can make it happen. Somebody says, "Hey, I know a property." Somebody says, "Hey, I can maintain it." Somebody says, "Hey, we can market it." Blah blah. Right? You get the idea. And I thought that was uniquely enabled by crypto. Right? And I think we haven't seen that play out yet, but I'm very excited that we will in the coming years. And we wanted to play a small part in doing that. Right now, all of the contributions tend to be crypto native. Obviously, these are crypto projects, and people go and contribute. And because we do. We occasionally angel invest, Tanmay and me, but we talk to a lot of founders, and their number one pain point is hiring. Right? So we're like, no problem. We have the most talented folks in our country. A lot, one out of 20 of them get H-1B visas. The other 19 are equally talented. They just didn't get the visa. Yeah. Well, turns out now you can go hire them, right? And have them work on stuff. And for them, it's great. They're making, making a comparable living as if they were in the US, right? And so I think that was the powerful thing. Now, many of them are founding projects, right? In fact, in this hackathon, there are 4 submissions from the SuperTeam DAO. Somebody is building a decentralized version of, Mirror, right? Or on Solana, like a decentralized medium, right? Publishing tool. Somebody is building a Discord wallet for tipping. There's, a DAO reputation management tool being built. So it's pretty cool. It's just organically emerged as a community. And our general bet is like platforms capture most of the network effects in Web 2 and communities will capture the network effects in Web 3.
We need a Discord tool for tipping.
Well, we'll put you in touch.
It's really good.
Yep. I like this fact, like supercharging or hyper sprinting because of SuperTeam DAO. You have a team of talented people who are capable of doing a lot of niche things, and whatever the project wants, they can just go ahead and reach out. So yeah, speaking on that, guys, like let's say if a developer or a designer wants to join SuperTeam DAO, like what should they do?
Win a bounty. You can also apply with proof of work. But we're very selective on who to let in. If you're not an active member of the community, we also do like a cleanup. Because the idea is to not just have a large community. The idea is to have engaged community that's earning money. So if you're in the DAO, we want to make sure that you are doing some project in some way. Or you can also come in and you can lurk in the Discord. There's a lurker section, and you can apply for an Instagram saying, hey, I want to build this project. I would need this much money to make it happen. And then there's a team that reviews the project and sees if we can fund it. So there's a couple of ways that you can enter the DAO. But if you don't, then don't get frustrated. There's bounties coming up every week. We're actually also we just launched something called what is it?
Job Dropping Wednesday.
Job dropping Wednesday. That's so cool.
Job dropping Wednesdays, where Yeah, where every Wednesday there's going to be a Twitter space with founders, where hey, we're going to find jobs for folks, and we're going to introduce you to the founders and do a live session and see what they're looking to hire, and if anyone's interested, they can apply. So we're trying to make that more open, which is as many features of the closed group that we can make open. That'd be great, because let some serendipity happen. That's how you can apply, right? I'm missing something.
Yeah. I mean, these days this is the thing. We just made it. If you win a bounty, you're part of the DAO, right? That's just, and bounties are sponsored by several projects and reviewed by these several projects, right? And so we're just a tool to bring those. We don't have a DAO treasury. We don't have any governance. We think governance is overrated for DAOs at the moment. We don't even think that everybody voting on every issue is the right governance tool. I think those things have to mature over time. And that's why we didn't want to do any token sales. So we don't have a token. We're really a DAO by aspiration, not by organization. But I think there's a spirit of having project-based leadership. So leadership is liquid. So I may be working for a project, lead that's running some project, and that's totally fine. There's no default hierarchy and things like this in a company. So it's still somewhat of a loose community, which is what makes it fun. And it's opt-in, right? Yeah. Nobody has to pay anything. It's just you have to come hang out, and if there's some interesting work, you get an opportunity to do it. And we just thought that anybody who completes a bounty or does some work over a weekend is the best way for them to get into Web3, right? It's like, until you actually do something, it's hard to articulate what it is. And we figured this is the easiest way to do that.
Awesome. All right. Akshay, you mentioned briefly about angel.
Oh, sorry. Also, bribing also works. Bribing, you can bribe me and Akshay to get into the DAO. I forgot to mention. That is actually the main way how most people get in.
So just Paytm works?
Yeah. Bribe in fiat exclusively, only on UPI. That's it.
All right. Also, Akshay, you mentioned about angel investment. So what do you guys usually look for when it comes to investment? And how do people reach out to you guys if they are looking?
We first look for personal liquidity. That's usually our first question. Do we have any money at all? Or have we lost everything in this bear market, quasi bear market that we're in?
Yeah.
How do we angel invest, Akshay?
That's not what I don't know. I honestly, we're not angel investors. People shouldn't listen to us. We're not any prototype of angel investor. That isn't to say that, we're angels in EPNS. Guys, they're awesome. I think I've got to tread this line carefully. But I don't think we have a process. Honestly, I know a lot of really successful angels, and I know they have a process for this kind of stuff. And I've learned a lot over the years from successful Web2 angels as well as crypto angels. Both Tanmay and I have done deals with Balaji, and he has a unique way of thinking about it. And I think Balaji is an angel in yours as well, right? And there's tons of folks, generally in the ecosystem who are very helpful. We brought on many of them on the podcast, right? And all of them, and we've talked to all of them about their own process. For us, honestly, we're much more intuitive people. We like to, I think there's a gut feel about the person we want to work with. The big question is, will we enjoy being in a room with this person and working with them? Do we foresee ourselves doing that? That's one. And the second is, we like to play with the product. So if it's pre-product, it's hard for us to say yes. So we're kind of like much more right-brained in that way, and we like to use the product. And so if the product and person match, honestly, that's really it. And that's why we don't even put up our angel investments, because I think it's one of these things where I don't even know if we are doing it the right way, and we don't even have a feedback loop. In crypto, it's relatively shorter, the feedback loop, but I still think that there's so much for us to learn, and it's really just, we do this just because it's a part of being in Web3. So it's like a MBA budget for us, where we say, okay, here's the amount, let's assume it goes to zero, and let's invest in a bunch of these. And these founders and companies that we would love to work with. So that's how we approach it. I don't know that we have anything more intelligent to say than that. Tanmay, I don't know. Do you think?
That's well downplayed. I like that answer. I think it's better to downplay it. Better to downplay than be like, we actually have thoughts and this is our thesis.
We have
No.
thesis.
So you guys are not
We
going to
have
publish a
before.
2022 investment thesis newsletter.
No. If we manage to just tweet in 2022, that's a big win
That's
for
a
us.
big win. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanmay, Tanmay's day starts only at 1 p.m. So you
You
can
know.
imagine
Not
half working day is
Not anymore.
gone.
Not anymore.
Okay. His work day at least starts then. He has a workout in the morning, walk in the morning. He's like, I'm in the garden, I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess we just start our work day at 1 p.m. then, right? And then of course he's doing some raid night and game night 8 p.m. onwards. So really we don't work a lot. I told you, right? We're on the margin, of unemployment.
You want 16-year-old engineers to get into Web3? You shut up and let me do my game night.
That is our strategy, by the way. They first come to play games with Tanmay, and then Tanmay is like, "What are you doing playing games at 10 p.m.? Go build a thing."
The tipping bot.
You think life is a
Go
joke?
build. Yeah.
Awesome. So this was fun, guys. This wraps up the phase one of the interview. We do have a surprise phase two, kind of like coffee with Karan style. That's designed by Richa. So Richa,
A very low budget coffee with Karan.
very
So
low budget.
Yeah.
Wow, Harsh really disowned this idea very quickly.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
Richa,
like,
Richa, I don't know.
Just throw her under the bus, huh?
Yeah.
Just absolutely
Wow.
complete.
Yeah, he helped me frame these questions. He better take
responsibility.
responsibility of these.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Wow, Harsh.
I was confident.
Harsh just LARPing like he's like a smart 140 IQ engineer. I'm like a technical brains and he's drafting coffee with current questions behind the scenes.
Okay, awesome. So, just rapid fire questions, Tanmay Akshay, 5 to 10 seconds, you can take your time and just like throw whatever comes to your mind. So, for both of you, what's the best piece of advice you've received?
Buy Bitcoin. That was good advice. Akshay, yours?
Mine is, I think, employment is overrated.
That's pretty true. Do you want to share who told you that?
I think I gave myself
That's
that.
okay. So show us something from your workspace. The Netflix cup. Okay.
I have a mug.
Every day.
I have a mug, okay, that I got, that somebody gifted me. Here.
Years of Bitcoin.
Years of
Oh, that's so cool.
I have a Bitcoin mug as well.
But you can edit that out, okay? So just so I can look smart. I haven't opened this book, okay? Let's see.
Ooh, a spiral binded token
spiral
economics.
Economics and
Back in
math of
college.
token engineering.
Yeah.
And DeFi.
This is so now when founders are watching, right? They must be like, oh wow, like this, like wow, a smart investor, like reading books and all.
It's going to add
Even though I haven't
value.
opened
And-
it. Yeah, just
And the
so I'm
title of a
catered
book-
to the Bakchod founder also. It's like wow, Bakchod. And I've catered to like the nerdy. See, you see what I'm doing here.
Yeah. So for both
First
of
time
you,
I'm seeing a book with 12 words subject.
yeah. So for both of you, what does metaverse mean to you?
Ooh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have tried, but I've spent the last month using the Oculus. Okay. It's real, guys. It's not some made up concept that people are talking about. I've played golf now, and it just needs a social element, and it needs to be affordable enough for everyone to do it. But it's real. It's going to happen. It's an inevitability. Once I used it for a week, I spent about 100 hours in the metaverse by now, and it's pretty amazing. So I think it's going to happen, and it's like the first time. Have you gone to a movie theater the first time? It's like, the feeling, it blows your mind that, oh my God, it's in my whole peripheral vision. Like, that's crazy. It's that, but plus, right? Yesterday, I was playing with the robot for an hour, dude. Like, inside the metaverse, in the Oculus, there's one app that puts you in a room and you get to play games with the robot. It's like a Wall-E type robot. 1 hour I played. And that's not even a real person. if you gave me a real person, then it would be insane. So it's an inevitability, and it's going to happen. What about you, Akshay? Thoughts on the metaverse?
I think it's a sector of investment that will go to zero in the shortest period of time that crypto has experienced, for the most part.
Wow.
And and so I'm very skeptical of this. And generally speaking, it I have not seen. So see it to believe it things. I have not seen any metaverse product that has me excited yet. But I'm also not.
The only project I want to add.
We did a lot of scams and a lot of like just overhyped things raising capital, and that's kind of been off-putting for the most part. But I'm sure there's some really legit projects there that we just haven't had the opportunity to experience, which I hope we do. But I think this VR being the thing, it's like how your phone is our medium, VR being a medium I buy, obviously, like because that experience is
the only like Oculus is a centralized project, right? Like even I haven't seen anything in the Web3 metaverse space that's like super exciting. But NFTs being a part of, but how are you going to fight FANG is the real question. How are you going to fight Facebook, Amazon, Apple? Because they're almost there.
Yep, absolutely. So Akshay, this one is for you. You have been granted 10 million plus immortality. Catch is an immortal, super smart snail, chases you forever, and you die if it touches you. What's your strategy?
Wait, what? You mean what?
Got it.
What Coffee with Karan have you been watching, Richard?
What
Coffee with Karan is what was your last date and who you slept with, and what is this?
This is like a math problem in.
Harsh, you want to break it down? This is written by Harsh for Akshay.
The author of this has been betrayed. I understood. You have 10,000 units of immortality. I'm like, why am I doing math in this question?
So it's an immortal snail problem. So you get $10 million and immortality. The only catch is that a snail also gets it, a super smart snail, and that snail will chase you forever. Yeah, and if he touches you, you die. So what's your strategy?
The real question is, do you want immortality? Because that sounds already, I feel like life is so long. I keep telling this to Akshay all the time. Every second morning, I'm like, Akshay, life is so long.
Like we have got to do the same thing again. I'm like, we are doing nothing. Yes, you have to do nothing again. You know what our day is like for all the drama Tanmay does. He at 1 o'clock he'll send me a link. Just link. That's it. No hi, nothing. Just a Zoom link. And I'm unemployed. I'm doing nothing. I'm pretending to read a book. So I also have nothing to do. So I'll go join the link. Then we're just talking for 3 hours. We're browsing the internet together. There's some weird, like, non-platonic relationship that has emerged on me. It's so weird. No, my girlfriend is like, what are you doing? What are you guys talking about? And we're talking for 3 hours and all. Right? And then we are like, okay, fine, let's prep for the podcast. And we are ill-prepared for the podcast. We don't even know about some, what questions we should be asking. Even that, we don't make an effort. We go to the DAO and say, guys, can you crowdsource questions? It's embarrassing. The amount of work we don't do. And for that, our friend here is like, oh, it's so long. Life is so long. Do we just need to keep doing the same?
Man.
Okay, now coming to real coffee with Karan kind question.
Okay.
So Tanmay, name one celebrity who has asked you crypto curious questions. This is from me.
Good question. I thought Mr. Amitabh Bachchan asked really interesting questions. I think he did something in crypto many years ago. I was in a room with him where I was discussing something about crypto, and he happened to chime in with, and he asked he asked about how many validators does Bitcoin have and that kind of stuff, right? Like he understands some basic stuff, which was cool. Interesting. Yeah. Then he asked about what are smart contracts, and we started discussing Ethereum. Then he asked about, policy stuff. Where is India at, and where's the world at, and that kind of stuff. So I was very pleasantly surprised that he was fairly with it. Yeah. Otherwise, everybody else only asks, "Kya kharidu?
Point.
Abhi kya lu? Abhi kharidta hai. Batao, kya kharidu?" And weirdly enough, everyone's obsessed about which is the best exchange, which is the best. I said, तेरे को खरीदना ही मतलब 10,000 रुपए का बिटकॉइन है, कहीं से भी ले लेना, तो क्या है? Why are you asking so much? Like, people think that the exchange is going to make a big difference. Yeah, it's like you're not going to trade. You don't have the time to trade. You barely understand Bitcoin. At the end of the day, you're going to buy Dogecoin anyway. So why does the exchange matter? It's a bad investment on every exchange. So shut up and buy whatever you want to.
Awesome. So Tanmay, this one again is for you. Kapil Dev or Rahul Dravid? Your pick.
Oh, Rahul Dravid. Yeah. I think I just saw Rahul Dravid play more. I'm sure Kapil Dev was live, must have been amazing.
Cool. And Akshay, you get up and it's 2050. What do you see?
Me on a Zoom call.
In the metaverse.
With the snail behind you.
Hopefully I wake up and if I wake up in 2050, I'll be happy I woke up with all the things going on right now. And there is life left on planet Earth. So it's just gratitude. I see gratitude all around.
Yeah. So real quick, Tanmay, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the following? I want to binge watch.
I want to binge watch Super Pump, the show about Uber right now. Akshay has already watched it, so I want to watch that.
Yeah, and obviously Tanmay is going to stream it. This is going to happen because it's like content. 10 hours of content.
So one song that is stuck in your mind, Tanmay, forever.
So last night, there's a song by Tesher that I discovered, which is a mix of Old Town Road by Lil Nas X and Ramta Jogi from Tal, a song made by A.R. Rahman for Subhash Ghai.
Yeah.
By the way, if you ask anyone what is the opposite of Subhash Ghai, they'll say Lil Nas X. Like it's the scientific opposite of a Subhash Ghai. It's the quantitative and qualitative opposite of Subhash Ghai is Lil Nas X. So that's if anyone's watching this, you should if you search for Tesher Ramta Jogi, you should find this song. It's been on loop for 20 days. That and Kacha Badam. As you can see, I have a very refined taste in music. I listen to very niche things.
No, when I'm talking to a founder, especially if they're not from India, right? I'll be like, hey, my partner and I do some investing. We host a podcast. I'd love to have you on it sometime. It's like, yeah, who's your partner? And I show him this. Like, he's a gamer? Yeah, he's also a gamer. But you said you guys have a crypto podcast. Yeah, here's the link to that. It's like, oh, he's an angel investor and a gamer. I said, yes. And then they'll see his Twitter. Like, wow, 6.7 million followers. He's a comedian? It's like, yes, it's complicated. It's just no way of explaining why Pakistanis are savage. Part 11. And here is Ethereum scaling solution for the
Tanmay, one irk you have with Akshay.
Okay, so Akshay does this thing lately. Okay, it's the most irritating thing ever. He will find these YouTube shorts of these finance and crypto influencers of it's just the worst, just garbage advice anyone can give anyone. 3 ways to lead your life: wake up early, eat good breakfast, go to sleep. Things like that, like motivational speakers. And very seriously, we have a SuperTeam WhatsApp group. Okay, very seriously, he'll send that link on it and he'll tag me saying, "Hey Tanmay, why can't we make content like this?" Now, obviously, I don't know what the content is before I click on it. So I am like, oh, Akshay is making content suggestion. I should see it. And every time I click on it, it's some garbage that opens up. Every time. He ironically clickbaits me every day. And I'm not exaggerating. It happens every single day.
Akshay
fall for
spending
it
a lot
every
of
day.
time scanning through
So irritating.
It's so, I find it so funny. Even now, it makes me laugh just him describing it. I find it because I just imagine Tanmay in his house opening the video and seeing what I sent him. And it's a really bad stuff. Okay, it's like 4 ways of investing in the stock market that make sure you'll always make money. And then it'll be something. So just Tanmay, can we please make a version like content like this?
Number
Really
one,
upsets him.
be rich.
I think it was funny the first 2 times. I think we're on day 14 now, and it's just so funny only to me.
Tanmay, so wrong answers only. How would you describe ATH?
अभी time है.
Be time. Good, makes sense.
अभी ATH के लिए भी time है. हाँ,
Be
अभी
time.
time है.
WagMe.
WagMe is like some offshoot of Xiaomi. Like they're making wigs or something like that. I don't know. Anytime anything ends with me, I'm always thinking of Xiaomi.
Okay, so Tanmay, your top 3 projects of Ethereum. This is simple.
My top 3 projects. EPNS is my favorite project on Ethereum.
Just a full toss and knocked over mid-on for a 6. That's a fabulous shot. Just absolutely stellar.
Instadapp, another great project. What other angel investments do we have?
Portfolio.
What are the other good projects on Ethereum? Polygon.
Yeah.
Of course,
100%.
Polygon.
And finally, Tanmay, what does Ethereum mean to you?
A significant portion of my portfolio in Vitalik we trust. Ethereum means my net worth or lack of net worth. So please guys, Vitalik, do something.
Cool. So Akshay, like super simple set of questions for you as well. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say that Balaji and Naval are calling you at the same time? Whose call will you pick?
Oh my God. What is this question?
It's my call. You'll pick my call first.
We don't have important people call us. This is what I told you. Remember, we started a podcast just so we could talk to people and make it look like they're our friends. They're not. So if they're calling me both of them are calling me at the same time, and probably it's 6 a.m. and I need to wake up.
Okay. So everybody's been asking when dollar super.
Never. Don't have any expectations that we don't want any conversation around token, because that is a distraction from the larger mission, right? Of right now, like we wanna give as much money out to the community for doing actual work. We don't want people who are just in it for the token, just in it for that. We don't want those kind of folks to be there. You want a community despite a token first, and not because of it. Like if you are able to get that, the token is a massive upside to already a well-knit community. So that's why we stay away from token conversation. And like in the past, I have managed to create communities which there's no financial upside to it, right? And it's very fun to do that first. That is very nice to do. So we'll see about token, why to commit, why to even have thoughts about it.
Got it. And is there any alpha that you guys want to drop about Superteam DAO?
Oh, there's a couple of really cool things. Maybe an accelerator. I don't know. We'll see.
Ooh. And that's quite an alpha. Yeah, and Akshay, I forgot to ask you, what is your one irk you have with Tanmay? I think you've told him quite a few, but like,
why are you asking him now? You're just giving more excuses to bitch about me.
Maybe one.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. The fact that his day starts at 2 p.m. or the fact that he does not know how to use Google Calendar, or the fact that we'll get into
don't know how to use Google Calendar only.
Or that he has 22,000 unread emails. The fact that he doesn't sign SAFs on time. I don't know where to start. No, I think my biggest irk probably is he's fiercely competitive and equally fiercely lazy. And that competitive spirit will come out only when somebody else produces content and gets like 150,000 views, and then there's this animal energy that will overcome him,
Yeah.
and basically he'll just get into this work mode. So, but I can't count on somebody making a bad video about the thing we want to make a video about for him to be motivated. So I have to constantly just pray that somebody makes a video on this. Maybe I should start paying other YouTube influencers to just make a video on something, and so he sees it and we can make a better version of this. So I don't know, I haven't found a way around it yet, but that's probably my biggest doubt.
And what are your top 3 projects of Ethereum?
EPNS, obviously.
I think we gave a collective answer on the last one.
Yeah,
I think
so
that was.
too.
I think that our list is somewhat collective. Yeah,
Got
I think. I think Polygon, and I'd say Time Swap maybe.
And do you have a different take on what Ethereum means to you finally?
I think it's a extremely high quality institutional settlement layer, and I am really thankful that it exists in a world where we went from seizing or freezing Canadian truck drivers' bank accounts to freezing assets of a central bank of a country that is nuclear armed in 6 weeks. So I'm very thankful and grateful that folks like you and thousands of other developers are building this infrastructure that we can all take advantage of.
All right. I think that was it.
Thank you so much, guys, for
Section.
coming on the show. We had so much fun. I think, the most fun we have
Good time.
had.
Market has gone up 2% in the last 1 hour. Just wanted to tell you guys that it was a good Maurat also for us to do this.
Good Muhurat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for having
Thanks
us.
for having us, guys.
Yeah. We'll see you in
Sweet
Dubai
endeavor.
then.
Thanks for coming. Guys.
Yeah. We'll see you in Dubai soon.
Yeah, see you guys in Dubai.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.